All right, Tom, we took just in the end of the last part. We sort of talked about the Royal Ascot winner and you sort of not going into the flat in a big way. But as far as ways you can get from Royal Ascot in horse racing is point to pointing. I've seen you at loads of point to points in all sorts of hideous weather and stuff. I mean, is your participation in pointing mainly for business, or is it the love of the sport as well?
It's a combination of everything. Love of the sport, definitely. I just love racing, and I do like pointer. It was probably Jerry Supple, really, that got me rolling with the pointers. And the yard here itself, it blends to keeping a member of staff quite happy as well, having 3 or 4 to ride out every day and then doing the tidying up and the lawns and whatnot. So it worked well, and I enjoy having 4 or 5 pointers around because I like competition, and the yard can get paid for it. If I get it right and buy the right horse, the yard gets paid for the year. So that tidies that off, and I just like winning. It doesn't matter where it is, I like winning.
Now, it's interesting because at the time of recording this, Fresh Perspective was a winner in your colours at the weekend, but trained by Will Biddick.
Yeah.
So why have you suddenly got Will Biddick training you?
Well, I had a member of staff, a very, very good one, Lee Stevens, who moved on to greener pastures in last July, and I get away a lot to do all my point and whatnot in Ireland and France and whatnot, and I didn't have a good enough staff member, and that horse was standing me a lot of money. I wanted it done professionally and properly, so it was as easy to send it to Will. He does 20 of Paul's, and he just mushed him in along them and sure kept me updated, and I went and seen him plenty, and he's a smart horse.
So you've not turned in training yourself?
Oh God, no! And I'd say, well, Lee's actually coming back to work for me next Monday. He's decided he wants his old job back, so I'll probably get 3 or 4 more back, and we may have a runner or 2 before the season's out.
Now, I don't want to go back over old ground. You talked about this a bit in the previous part, but I'm interested in, because there has been talk about the state of point in the UK, a bit uncompetitive last season and not enough horses and stuff. I mean, well, how do you feel about the state of the sport at the moment?
I think the sport's fine. You probably want more people for more competition, but there's a group of young guys, Tom Weston, Charlie and Fran Post, Tom Lacey, who else is there? There's Will Biddock and Chris Barber, and Tom and Gina Ellis. There are 7 people that are as good a little trainers in the country. So you keep that young, kind of vibrant stock going on, and they're bringing horses through. That's all you need. And it's always been a fruitful place. People love racing, so I'd say it'll be fine. I do find I can cherry pick an Irish horse out of Ireland for modest money, and it'll be a certainty over here. So the level of competition is a far lower grade here, unless you bump into a Fresh Perspective. If you bump into him, it's different.
So do you think that if you're in charge of pointing, do you think you could change it to the extent that it could compete with Irish in sort of 10, 20 years' time?
It could, yes, definitely, in time. Because people get more confident, they're only going against 4-year-olds. They have to change that. They literally have to change that. I know they do a few 4 and 5-year-olds, which is fine if that's as far as they want to go. But keep a 6-year-old away from a 4 or 5-year-old. You know what I mean? If you want to show him off to be classy, you can't have a 6-year-old maiden near him getting 21 pounds off him. It just won't work.
So there could be a time that you're buying a horse for 100 grand out of a Chipley Park maiden?
Well, I bought a filly from Chattersley Corbett for 175 grand before Christmas. So the first 3 home are 4-year-olds. So I don't. They can still run, and I've no problem giving money for an English pointer, but they'll never make as much as an Irish because the confidence isn't there.
Okay, now before you actually go to buy your horse, wherever you buy it from, is there a pedigree or a bloodline that you're looking for? Is there anything that you whittle it down? You say you've condensed everything that you do. So where does it start with you for buying a horse?
So the catalogue will come out 4 weeks before a sale, especially the big store sales. I'll whittle that catalogue down, but I'll definitely see 3/4 of that catalogue. So if there's there could be 400 horses there, I'll see 300 of them over a 2 or 3 day period. And I'll condense that down to 35, 40, and then I'll end up buying 7 or 8. And that's how that basically works. And the 25% I haven't seen, my team will see them to make sure I haven't missed a little gem that hadn't got the right pedigree, didn't have the right stallion. So we realistically see every horse at the sale. I mightn't with my eyes, but the ones I need to see that tick the boxes, because thankfully we've got to a position where we can buy the best store now, or that's perceived the best store, with the daddy, the dam line, the physical, everything's ticked, and we can buy them. So I don't need to take a chance on a store. I can buy one that has less pedigree after it's won, because it's proven it's better than, it's outrunning its pedigree. But at store sale, I don't need to buy him.
Okay, now recently, well, a couple of years ago, the bloodstock industry came in for a bit of scrutiny and a bit of stick.
Yeah.
Do you feel that some of that has been justified? Any of that been justified?
In my time, I don't think so. The scenarios that were put in the papers when it all came up were from 20 years ago. Well, grand, everything's evolved from 20 years ago. Gambles on racetracks 20 years ago when there was one camera were pure shenanigans, and you know that better than anyone. So you can't get away with that now, and the industry's a lot tighter now, a lot tighter. So personally, I've not seen it. Yes, there have been rumours of years ago, but sure, who cares? Let's move on. Tomorrow's another day. Look forward, don't look back.
Okay, so when you, just for people that don't know, and I don't really know myself, what percentage of horses that you buy are bought to order with funds in your back pocket from owners, and what percentage do you take a gamble on, bring back here and hope to sell on for a profit?
50-50. I would have my business if I waited for the phone call to ring now tomorrow. So I bought 160 horses last year. You can guarantee if I waited for the phone to ring, it would have been 80. So if I see a horse I like, I buy him. I don't wait for someone else to buy him. It would break my heart to see a horse I found having someone else beating me to it. It hasn't happened in 5 years. It probably happened a couple of times before that, but my character wouldn't allow that to happen. If I see a horse I want, I do the deal, I shake the man's hand, and I go away. And between me shaking the man's hand, I've never let someone down. So when I shake their hand, they know it's done. Even if I get him sold to an owner in the meantime, if I haven't, I'll pay for him when he'll come here. And they know they'll never let me down then. They'll never renege on the deal, because I've never let them down. So that's how I run my business. If I shake a man's hand, I look him in the eye, the deal is done.
Okay, now I spent a lot of my sort of career in inverted commas writing about, sort of talking about big gamblers in the betting ring, all that sort of thing. I mean, but you guys in the bloodstock industry are actually the biggest gamblers in the whole industry. Would you not call it gambling?
It would only be when someone like yourself says it, and I think he's actually right, you know. I mean, I would think nothing of, at this stage now, thankfully it's got to that, I would think nothing of, if I found a horse and he was, after winning East Point, he was 200 grand, I'd say, yeah, I'll have him. And get it done in the meantime. But it is massive gamble, and I've had catastrophic errors. Horses come and they get hurt, or in the meantime the form has worked out horrific, or, you know, I made a boo-boo, and thankfully that's less than the good moves, but it happens. You know, I remember, I think I was about 180 grand out with 3 horses one season 10 years ago. It nearly wiped me out, it did. Do you know what I mean? But you dust yourself down, you keep looking. The one thing about my four-legged friends, you never know what's coming tomorrow, you never know what's coming next week. It's the greatest sport in the world. Honestly, I used to think, oh shit, where's the next one coming from? By God, they're coming in abundance at speed. I love it, I do. You just never know. Native River, Arkle, Sprinter Sacra, he's out there and he's around the corner. And that's how I look at it every day of my life.
Now we're sat in a absolutely wonderful property here, so you've obviously done very well. But you're walking along walking down to the paddock at the point to point, and you see one of yours that's a 2-to-1 chance, and you make it odds on. Would you still get a few quid out and have it on?
Yeah, it was funny. We went to, what's the name of the little track where you're standing on the hill? It's a little bowl underneath you. Trebidannon, is it? Yeah, Trebidannon. And I had the last but one, had a lovely horse called the last but one. And he was after getting beat a few times. What was the mare, or the good horse Joe Buck used to ride for Les Jefford? The black one used to won bloody loads of races on it, but it had beaten us twice. But I'd gone away and handicapped mine on the rules and fired its pallet. They put him up in a 3-runner race. Master Baker, that's what it was, Master Baker. They put him up at 10-to-1 in a 3-runner race, and I had his pallet fired. I thought, he's a certainty. Your man's beating him 2 lengths when he needed his pallet fired, and I'll never forget. I had 500 quid on him, 10 to 1 with 3 bookies, obviously between them the 500 quid, and that was a sweet little touch. And went back up to collect funds off one of them. He says, "I thought that horse was gone." I said, "Well, look what Thought done."
What's been your biggest winner and loser? Not betting with the bookies, but with your purchases.
Biggest winner. Oh, good shout. Biggest winner. Well, it wasn't my winner, but Native River would be one of the biggest winners, to be fair, or Violin, Brave Man's Game. Them 3 would be pretty spectacular wins. But Native River, because he cost less than 6 figures, and he's won more than any of them. So you'd have to say that. Biggest loser. Bought a horse one day called Trevelyan's Corn. I'd run faster than him, and he cost 400 grand. I would run faster than him. Now, things transpired against him in the end. But also, it was just one of them catastrophic errors. And every time he ran, I looked at him and go, "Oh, please, horse, just, we'll have to retire you. Stop this. I can't take it anymore." So, like I said, I'm a big boy. I know. I take the rough with the smooth, and the good days and the bad days.
Now, a good day, I imagine, was when you bought your local pub.
Yeah, well, that was a funny one. I used to go up, it's only a mile up the road, and I used to go up there every Sunday afternoon after all the pointing was finished and racing was finished, and have a few drinks with the lads and play pool. I love playing pool. And the bloody thing closed down last July, and I kind of was thinking, that's a bit dull now, so I'll have to find somewhere else. But in the end, I couldn't find anywhere else, didn't want to go anywhere else. And 2 or 3 months later, I said, probably have a go at buying this, and we bought it. And John Coward, who runs the 2 best pubs in the area, the Bear in Wiveliscombe and the Martlet in Langford Budville, I got a meeting with him. We didn't know each other, and after listening to him talk about what he does in his pubs and how he runs them, and unknowns to me, he was asking a friend that I was with what was happening with the pub and what he said he'd do to that and what he could do with it. I went, wow, this man doesn't even know, but he's going to run this for me. So I bought it.
What's it called? We need to advertise this.
It's called the Royal Oak in Hillcommon. Yeah, it's like the racing pub of the area now. So most of the trainers call in on their way home from racing at Exeter or Newton Abbot or places, Taunton even. So it's been frequented by plenty of trainers now lately. The food's amazing and the crack is good. And we gutted it and started again, so it had a proper makeover in 10 weeks. And we got it open on the 15th of December. And I was at Cheltenham Sales on the 15th of December. What a day to pick to open it. But all of the Irish guys came, got a minibus and came down for the opening. Gordon Elliott, Eddie O'Leary, they were all there, every one of them. We had a great night.
So on a normal day, if a trainer comes back from Exeter races and pops into the pub, do they see a smiling Tom Malone pulling the pint behind the bar?
No, definitely not. No, my job, look, I've leased it to John. John's in charge of all that. I don't get in the way of it. He keeps me well informed, which is very kind of him, but it's down to him. It's nothing, the running of it's nothing to do with me, thank God, because if it was, I wouldn't own it. Because my job is what I need to concentrate on, not pulling a point.
Right, and then finally, Tom, you're still a young man.
Yeah.
We started the interview talking about you sourcing horses that have won some of the biggest races in national hunt racing. You've already sourced a Group 1 winner at Royal Ascot. You're a bit young to have peaked. So have you got a target ambition?
There's no peak in here. Another 10 Gold Cup winners, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. And I want a champion hurdle winner. I don't seem to buy that type of horse. I've looked at that strongly to see why. Most of the animals are buying are kind of staying chasers, so I'm going to have to tweak a small bit because I want a champion hurdle winner, but I want another 10 Gold Cups is the plan.
And what price do you make yourself?
Probably 100 to 1. But I'd back myself.
Nobody would lay you at that
No,
price.
they wouldn't, would they?
Anyway, but Tom Malone, thank you very much.
Thank you.